Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Pokemon, and today I'm bringing you a very special video because today I'm with someone that you guys may know in the community. Today, we're talking to Khasino. Khasino, you want to say hi to everybody?
What's going on?
So I figured, now we're going to be asking some questions today. I know a lot of you probably wonder what he learned at Fox Next, but to be quite frank, guys, he's talked about that everywhere. But we're going to start out this video with a quick summary of what I've learned from what he's been saying to other people about Fox Next, but we're not going to focus this video around that because, I mean, he's been grilled about that for the past week. We're going to talk about some fun stuff today, but if I am going to go through and summarize what he did learn from Fox Next, I'm going to say first off, Ant-Man and Wasp are going to be meta shifting. He always talked about that. They're going to be really great in Arena. Second, he talked about on the Marvel Strike Force Damage Control podcast that raid maps will be moved down from requiring all Alliance members to requiring most of your Alliance members, but I don't exactly know all the details about that. And then he also said that they're pretty much listening to our concerns, kind of, you know, they understand, and Khasino and Mobile Gamer did bring up our concerns to them. Anything else you feel you should add to that, Khasino?
No, there's quite a bit, but if you really want the full scoop on what was discussed at Fox Next, there's still a few things that we're not allowed to disclose yet, but I'd say about 70% of what we learned we can disclose. I'm sorry, my phone went off. We're able to disclose about 70% of it, so there's a 10-minute video on Mobile Gamer's channel, and that will talk about everything in like bullet point form, and then there's like a 35-minute mini podcast video on my YouTube channel where we go into a little bit more detail about why the devs were saying they were doing some of the things they're doing. But yeah, if you really want to get a gauge for how that trip went, go check out either of those videos.
All right, that's awesome. Now, we're going to talk about some more fun stuff. We're going to learn a little bit more about Khasino. So, am I correct to say that you stream Marvel Strike Force every day?
Every single day.
Wow. So, now how do you go through and fill up that time? Because how long do you stream for usually?
I usually try to start about a half hour early, but I always officially start at 1 p.m. and then I'll usually go for at least 3 hours, sometimes 4 or 5, and on certain crazy days I've done 12-hour streams, but usually 3 to 4 hours.
So what exactly do you do in Marvel Strike Force to fill up all those hours?
Well, so there's quite a bit. In terms of the actual specific Marvel Strike Force gameplay, I can usually bang that out in about an hour. Sometimes like you're just kind of sitting around. Now, obviously I fill the time, but you've just got, like, what is it, like 15 minutes between arena matches, stuff like that. Yeah. So those will drag it out a little bit if I save those towards the end. But ultimately there's not a lot of downtime because firstly, I'm constantly getting asked questions. Some of the questions are related to what I'm doing right then and there, so I'll have to constantly stop and explain why I chose a certain character, why I chose a certain ability, why I purchased a certain thing. Also, there's a good amount of questions I get that have nothing to do with what is going on. There's a lot of things that happen in my channel itself, like why did the bot give me this many chips, or how do I request a song, or whatever it is, so I take time to answer those things. Yeah. Sometimes I'll test interactions, so someone will say, do we know what happens when you use this ability before this one, whatever, we'll check it out. A lot of things I do, I will poll the audience, or I'll let them bet on what's going to happen, so I'll have to give them a few minutes here and there to vote on what ability they want me to upgrade, or to bet just the the free channel currency on whether a team is going to win a blitz match or something. I do giveaways for power cores, I do roster reviews, and that takes some time as I break down what teams people should be using. So actually quite a bit. Usually I still have more to do when I have to cut the stream.
Wow. So if I have to say, you're probably an expert on Blitz, right?
I consider myself more familiar with Blitz than any other game mode.
Mm-hmm. So. How many teams would you say you run in Blitz usually?
Well, so I use the full roster, which is what I like about Blitz, to get the winning multiplier high. But by the time I'm in like tier 7 and tier 8, I've got 5 main teams that I run. 3 of them I consider sure to win, and then I've got 2 that are like 80% likely to win. I could modify them a bit to make them more likely to win, but they win enough as it is, so I just run them and try to get a good matchup.
Are you able to fill us in on those teams?
Of course. Outside of my stream, I haven't put this out there yet. So when I fully solidify these teams, I'll probably make a video about it. But yeah, you can get the scoop. So I'll start with the two that are fairly likely to win. The first one is Nebula, Merc Lieutenant, Merc Riot Guard, Korath, and Vision. And you know, Nebula is just a solid bruiser, and she gives herself evade, counter, speed up. Pretty solid. Merc Lieutenant, of course, gives everyone speed up and offense up, which really helps. Merc Riot Guard gives a lot of people defense up, which is great to protect the team. You've got Korath, who sometimes has the ability block, which is why this team works a lot of the time, is because they only have one purge, but if you ability block, a lot of times you save yourself the need of the second one. Excuse me. And then you've got Vision, who can for sure ability block and sometimes remove the right buff. So usually they get by. And then the other team that usually wins, but I don't want to call them sure to win, is Jessica Jones. I pay to refresh Vision, and then Cable, Rocket, and Spider-Man. That team has the Jessica Jones Vision combo, so for the most part, they're pretty good on the dispels. Again, Vision is a little inconsistent, but overall pretty good. But the big thing they have is so much damage. Spider-Man can do the defense downs, and his stun does so much damage. Cable has that nuke, and his base attacks hurt so much. Rocket starts off with a big attack, and then he has the big AoE. So that team, I try to just go against fewer tanks and just kind of bulldoze things. So that team's fairly reliable. And you'll notice that Vision is on both of them. I give this tip pretty often, but it doesn't occur to a lot of people. If you can pay extra to refresh one character, stick them with 4 other people you haven't been using, and get a whole nother perfectly viable team out of it, pay extra for that one character. It's worth that little extra for that one character to get a whole nother team that you can keep refreshing otherwise. So that's why I have Visions on both those teams. And then the 3 teams that just absolutely crush it are the Nobu, Electra, Hand Sentry, Hand Archer, Hand Sorceress combo. I have the Demolition Squad is what I call this one. These guys literally just obliterate everything, which is Crossbones and Kingpin with Hawkeye, Iron Man, and Deadpool. They just do so much damage. And then there's the meta 5 up at the top, which is the Captain Quake Black Widow combo with Yondu. And then for that 5th spot, I have the luxury of being able to decide between Gamora or Doctor Strange.
Wow, that's a pretty intense lineup. I'm known to not really go all out in Blitz. I know I should though. I really should. Blitz gives a lot of stuff, but I always have one team. But man, that's awesome how many teams you run in Blitz. Now, with all those teams, I'd imagine you're prepared for all types of Blitz, or could you fill us in on how much time you invest into each type of Blitz, like a new character Blitz, the returning character Blitz, or maybe Orb Blitz?
Oh, definitely. Okay, so new character Blitz, I don't really have a choice, even if the new character is terrible. You know, I stream every day. I'm a content creator. People want to know how good the new character is, so I have to get them so I can show them off, so I can test them myself and be able to give an accurate gauge of how good they are. So I go all in on the new character Blitzes, even if the new character stinks. For the returning character, that's really the only one where I get a little bit of a break. It depends on the returning character. Obviously, if it's like a really good returning character, like I already had Doctor Strange, but of course I wanted to star him up, so again, I'm all in. But like I got to take it a little easy on the Punisher Blitz. I was trying to take it easy on the Luke Cage Blitz. I'm not joking. I accidentally like placing like the top 150 for Luke Cage, but I assure you I was not making much of an effort to. I just happened to be awake and around to play it then. And then the Orb Blitz, I have a whole video with Valley flying, but the short version is Orb Assault pays so well. I always go for the top 500 for Orb Assault. Firstly, because it's easy to do, and secondly, because the rewards are just awesome.
Wow, that's again way more Blitz than I play, but that's awesome. I imagine there's a lot more gold in Blitz than I usually get from Blitz.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Blitz is the only mode where you are in total control of the benefit that you get out of it. You know, once you use your campaign energy, that's it. Once you use your raid energy, that's it. Once you use your 5 arena matches, that's it. But Blitz, the better you play, the more you can get out of it. And yeah, you can just get so many resources.
So I know you're a big fan of Blitz, but is that actually your favorite game mode, or do you have a different game mode that's your favorite?
Oh no, it's got to be Blitz. Currently, Blitz is the only mode where you really get to use your entire roster, and there are plenty of characters that I think are cool or fun to play, even though they're not that good. So I do like not only getting to use the full roster, but that's really where I get to play around with unconventional team comps and see if I can stumble across something that works surprisingly well.
So now you really are a big fan of Blitz, but what mode would you say is your least favorite?
I mean, they're all kind of fun, but I would say right now, Raid is just kind of for me. But it's not that I don't like the idea of raids or I don't want to play raids. It's the current state of the game. Raids are not challenging for the high end players. And you know, it's like that's a good problem to have. I'm not like, oh, it sucks for me. I'm a high-end player. Definitely not. But like most of my alliance literally just jumps in the level 50 Ultimus raid and puts it on auto fight. So that's not a very engaging mode. But I would love it if they made it more challenging and more rewarding. Some of the event raids have been challenging and awesome. So.
Yeah, I know personally for my alliance. Now, I run a very casual alliance, so we usually actually do level 40 raids. I know it's very low, but we're very laid back there. And yeah, I always run it on auto there. And even level 50, I'm still able to run level 50 raids on auto. Do you guys ever do do they have level 60 raids?
Ultimus level 60 raids? No. Now, we did ask, because obviously we have level 60 players, so that's actually one of the things from our trip to Fox next that we're not really allowed to talk about, but we certainly brought up, like, what's going on with higher level raids. So can't give you the answer, but definitely looked into it.
So because you're running all these modes, who are your favorite characters to use throughout these modes?
Well, so I don't want people to like confuse my answer here with like who are the best, strongest characters, because if you're just like, you know, who's the most generally applicable across all game modes, you know, it's just going to be like that Captain, Quake, Black Widow, Yondu combo. Yeah. But my favorite champs to play in terms of just their fun and how they handle, just off the top of my head, I really enjoy Gamora with the resets, Deadpool, Iron Man, Spider-Man when you get the defense down, super fun. Rocket is a ton of fun. Black Panther with the resets. So those are some of the characters that I'm just always happy to bring into a match if I have an excuse.
So, in terms of the game as a whole, what do you feel about the state of it? Like the community, the game, communication from Fox next?
Okay, so that's a bit of a multi-tiered question. So, I'm always the optimist. I'm always trying to look at a game's potential, and this game is really new, and they already have so much cool stuff. So, I'm definitely very, very excited for the future. There's a lot of opportunity to make a really, really amazing game here. The community, by and large, is really, really awesome. Hands down, the most amazingly supportive community I've ever seen. So I cannot thank the community enough. The only reason that I've had the opportunity to do some of the things that I've done is from the support from the community. So I absolutely love this community. And also, they're generally just much more positive than other gaming communities. I come from League of Legends, which is, I guess I would describe it as a cesspool of toxicity. So it's a very nice that most people are positive, reasonable, level-headed. So it's pretty awesome. The communication, on the other hand, definitely lacking. And you can rest assured that both me and Mobile Gamer let the devs know more than once that the communication could use some work.
One thing that felt kind of weird to me is with the new Marvel game that came out today, the Marvel Battle Lines. When I went to that community to create it, I just kind of sat there and I was like, oh, like, so we're all alone? Like, I'm used to having all the other people in the Marvel Strike Force community, like the other YouTubers, just everybody in the community. And when I went to that other community, it felt so, like, empty there. I was like, man, this is so, like, I miss everybody from the Marvel Strike Force community. So, yeah, I'd agree with you. The community here is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. No question.
Now, one of the things some people have been talking about in the game, I know I talked about this once or twice, are skins. And as of now, we haven't seen alternate versions of the characters come into the game, like DC Legends or Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So that does lead some people to believe that maybe one day we'll get a skin system. How do you feel about skins coming into this game?
So I've used the only skin systems I'm really familiar with are like League of Legends, where it's purely cosmetic, and then I played a MOBA that's in beta in Korea called Marvel End Time Arena, and they were skins that changed the appearance, but they also like changed like one of the character's abilities, which was kind of cool, but it did make it like, oh, okay, so this skin is better than the other skin in some instances. Obviously the goal was that it would be like a one or the other, but sometimes, you know, just one was just better for the play style. So I like the idea of skins definitely more than the immersion ruining having multiple versions of a character. You know, I wouldn't want like Captain America standing next to World War II Captain America standing next to like black outfit Captain America, because then it's like, what's going on here? And I know we still run into that sometimes in the game anyway, but I definitely like skins as opposed to different versions of the same character, because then not only does it add some variety, but also then you have room for more actual individual characters.
Yeah, I've always I was never a big fan of having skins or alternate versions of characters into the game, because I always thought it was weird too. That's a great way of phrasing it with the immersion ruining. I just always was like, oh, that's weird, but that's a much better way to phrase it than the way I used to phrase it.
Thanks.
So another system that maybe some people have been theorizing coming into this game is a mod style system like Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. What are your thoughts on a system like that coming into Marvel Strike Force?
All right, so I don't want to talk about mods too long, but I want to put this disclaimer out because I offhandedly mentioned mods in the recap video from the trip to Foxnext. Mobile Gamer wasn't even going to bring it up, and for good reason, because it was a very insignificant and tiny part of why we were there. And there was like people got. I said the word mods, and immediately like Reddit posts went up like, let's organize the mod protest. Let's tell the devs we don't want mods. And it's like, well, it's not like they were talking like, so we're thinking of doing mods. It was nothing like that. Literally, just one guy asked Mobile Gamer. I think Mobile Gamer was the one who might have like offhandedly mentioned mods, and then that one guy was like, oh, how do the mods work? What do you think of the mods in that game? Like, that's it. Just one guy curious about mods. No reason to believe we're getting mods. Nothing like that. But so yeah, I want to make sure I put that out there. You have no reason to believe mods are coming to the game. And then this is the other big thing. As soon as someone says mods, I always see a bunch of people who are like, that was the worst part of Galaxy of Heroes. That ruined Galaxy of Heroes for me. And that may or may not be true. I don't know. I quit Galaxy of Heroes shortly before they introduced mods. But there's no reason to believe, even if we one day get mods in this game, that it would have anything to do with the mods in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Mods is such a vague term that can mean so many things. So before people get up in arms over the one or two bad instances of mods that they have experienced, again, I try to always be the optimist. If they were going to bring in something like mods, I love the idea of added customization. You know, I would, even if it was just something simple like, I'm running the damage boosted Gamora, but you're running the defense boosted Gamora, and it turns out that defense boosted Gamora is just tanky enough to survive Winter Soldier's second turn or whatever it is. So, you know, that's something sneaky. I didn't think about running a defense boosted Gamora. Like it could make the game more fun. The main concern, I think, because I've seen so much mod hate, specifically regarding like the mod feature, is that, like, if I'm not mistaken, I think Galaxy of Heroes put like one stat that was just way better than all the others, and then just everyone had to get that speed stat. So if they could make some kind of a mod system, which again, we have no reason to believe that they are, but if one day there is a mod system, as long as it's properly balanced so that there are multiple different mods that can all be used impactfully, as opposed to just grinding for that one or just paying a lot of money for that one stat, I'm all for it. But yeah, have to be done right. I've tried to get in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
It's never really clicked with me. I think probably the big thing with Strike Force that hooks me in is the graphics and, of course, the Marvel. I'm a big fan of superheroes, but I've never personally got to experience mods, so it's really nice to get to hear from people that, even if you've never personally experienced mods, you know a little bit more about mods than I do.
Well, I always think it's similar. So in League of Legends, they had runes and masteries, which they've now kind of condensed into one thing. But the short version is, before you play any character, you can kind of configure it to make them a little bit more damage leaning, or a little bit more defense leaning, or a little bit more utility leaning. And for the most part, obviously there's, you know, like if it's a damage character, you typically want to run them with the damage benefits, but they're all strong enough that if you want to get creative and play it in an alternative way, you can absolutely still make it work. Sometimes you can even stumble across something that you weren't expecting to work, and it works better than you would have guessed. So I definitely like any opportunity to experiment and come up with new combinations of awesome things.
Well, it's been awesome to pick your brain about all kinds of things Marvel Strike Force related. If we're going to end this out, we got to end this on the classic question. Who do you want to see come to Marvel Strike Force?
Oh, there's one character in particular that we have to get right away. Devs, if you're listening, do this for me, please. Give me my Scarlet Witch. Please.
I heard you, somebody talked about that on the Strike Force Damage Control podcast, how great she'd be in the game.
Yeah, I think I jokingly said she'd have to have like an AoE that just instantly killed everyone. Obviously not actually, but yeah, she's really awesome. They'd have to make her really powerful. I would love to see what they would do with her. And then, if not Scarlet Witch, I'm just typically more of a fan of the X-Men, so I'd love to see Iceman, Quicksilver, maybe Nightcrawler. You know, there's some really cool stuff they could do. So
you don't want Man-Thing in the game like me? You're not a big fan of Man-Thing?
No, not as big of a Man-Thing fan as I am maybe Squirrel Girl. So,
well, do you have any final advice for Marvel Strike Force players about what maybe they might want to be looking to do?
Yes. So I can't go into the reasons why, but I can say this. I have reason to suspect that Jessica Jones and Vision will become more relevant. And I could be wrong on this, so I always offer this disclaimer. I apologize if I'm wrong on this, but I'm guessing that Jessica Jones and Vision are going to be a bit more impactful going forward. If I'm wrong about that, they're still both phenomenal characters for Blitz teams, so you won't regret powering them up anyway, but I would. And then also, you might just want to be a little bit more conservative with your gold, maybe some of your tier 3 ability materials. You know, just to practice saving habits is, I guess, what I recommend, yeah.
Understandable. Now, before people go today, where can they find you across the internet?
I try to be literally everywhere. So I have a Facebook and a Twitter, but where you can find me every single day, twitch.tv/Khasino. That's spelled Khasino. I stream Marvel Strike Force every single day at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I'm trying to be very active on the Reddit. I go by Khasino Owner on Reddit. I'm on Discord, Khasino, Khasino, number 2011. I'm on the Line Chat app, so I try to be everywhere. So if you Google me, you should be able to find me somewhere.
Man, you have that stuff down. Well, I guess, do you want to wrap out the video today?
I wasn't expecting it, but sure. Thank you guys for taking the time to hear me out. And yeah, if you ever have any questions or anything, I'm streaming every single day. You can just show up, hop in voice chat, ask any questions, and yeah, I try to be available as often as I can to help out.
Well, guys, that is Khasino. I am Pokemon, and I'll see you guys later. Signing off, guys.
Peace.